Hello friends, welcome to Behind the Designs, where I create a beautiful life through creative planning. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on my bullet journal from Happy Planner. And I'm also going to show you the first page I did, and then we're going to do a page. So that's what I'm going to do today. All right, so welcome back. And what I'm going to do, so I've been going back and forth on this bullet journal. So if you recall, I did buy I believe it was called the Ditzy Wildflower Journal. And then I saw this one and of course had to have it. It's butterflies and it's got purple. And I really struggled to figure out how I wanted to use it, only because I have used a bullet journal in the past. And I pondered for a moment making it my calendar and, going full on in the bullet journal. But then I'm like, I kind of like my Happy Planner for various reasons, as you know. So I was kind of on the fence. And I've had this for a while. I've mentioned it a few times. I was going to pick it up, do something with it, change my mind. I kept changing my mind. So in the end, I decided to go with making it not so much a creative journal. Well, it is a creative journal. It's going to be kind of a creative/art journal. So, I've seen these being used as creative journals. I don't think I've seen them used as a regular, like full-on bullet journal, calendar, and so forth. But then I thought, at one time I was going to make it my commonplace journal. But I do have a commonplace journal in a traveler's notebook that I keep. And it works for me, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. I don't always have it handy, but then sometimes I do. So then I was like, well, then I'm just going to duplicate information. So I really was wishy-washy back and forth. What am I going to do with this thing? But I wanted to do something with it. So I decided to make it a creative/art journal. It's probably going to border more towards art journal because I do like to use mixed media and, use all the supplies. I like stamping and watercolor and acrylic and distressed ink and stamping and stenciling and all that fun stuff. So this is going to become part of this new schedule that I'm trying to work into my video taking. So there will be a segment on a specific day that will be for the bullet journal. It's going to be an art journal process, and that's going to be likely this one here. Over the time, I may do memory keeping of sorts in it, but again, right now that's what this is going to be. A creative/art journal, more leaning on the art journal side. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the page I did yesterday. I worked on actually 2 days ago, and then I finished it yesterday. And I was kind of I did the first page because I kind of wanted to get my groove with using this in the manner in which I wanted to use it. And so I did that first page. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Then I'm going to set you to some soft music as I go through my art journal process of creating these second and third pages, hopefully the third page. We'll see how far I get. And then I'll come back on briefly at the end and, chit-chat, and then that'll be that. So let me dive in and show you. Now, I wanted to do kind of a coffee book, theme in the beginning of this. So I kind of mixed the two. I couldn't decide on one or the other, so I mixed the two. I pulled out, of course, I pulled out my bookish stickers. I pulled out some stamps I had, coffee and books, and then, some more coffee and books, and, some washi. I do have a selection of London Gifties washi over here. I love their washi. It works amazing in your creative and art journals. And of course, I picked up probably of all my rolls, probably 3/4 of them are about coffee. So this is just one of them. This one's on, they're on transparent, so you can kind of just fussy cut lightly around the image, put it in your journal, and it kind of just disappears into the background. So I'm just going to tuck this over here. It's kind of a miscellaneous strip I had from one of the rolls. And of course, I've got some distress inks. I may or may not use them. I actually broke the, let me grab it. Let's see. Okay, so I broke the pad that goes on here and I didn't have any more. So we'll see if I can make it work. Because I had intended on using this as well. So let me dive into that first page. I'll show you what I did. I'll talk about the layers that were involved, and we'll move on. We'll move forward. So let me show you when you first open the book, you have your introductory or hello page. When I got this journal, the page, let me show you. Okay, here it is. So as you know, I always put a label now in my books telling me what the name of the book was. That just helps me to remember when I'm doing a video in case I pick up something that was like a couple years old. So anyhow, this paper, this periwinkle-ish blue paper, was not put in the book correctly. And what it was doing is it was pulling this first page because it wasn't, again, laid in and glued correctly. So I had to cut this in order for this page to lay flat. So I do plan to, do something with that. I just have to make a decision on exactly what I'm going to do. So that's the first page. I'm just being kind of gentle with it because I don't want the page or the binding or the hinge to rip off. So just being careful. Okay, so here's my first page. Pretty fun, right? All right, so, and I kind of have my little pages in here because I didn't want to lose which page belonged to which page. Okay, my first page in my creative/art journal is about coffee and books. Now, this page has anywhere from 7 to 9 layers of goodness and art in it. I did the first layer, which was distressed ink. So what happened was, I have this collage paper from Tim Holtz. It's a very thin, almost rice paperish kind of collage paper. So what I did was I wanted to put it on the bottom to kind of cover up all the white page. But, there's parts of it where it was shining through very bright. And I didn't really want a bright background to this collage paper. So what I did was I took some distress ink. This was my first layer. Took the distressed ink and just kind of swished it around my page. And then from there, I adhered the paper. So I did 2 things. I have collage paper here, and then on the edges is a book. Let me see if I can get it up closer to you. Okay, so you see the writing here. This is all a book page. And what I did with I keep old book pages. I've been given some, and I keep them because what I do is I use them for background in my art journals. So I just kind of cut out, fussy cut just by hand, a oval or circle. So those border the edge, and then the collage paper. So that counted for 2 more layers. And I used, in case you're interested in knowing, I used this to get the collage paper and the book paper onto my page. So I just picked this up. I think it maybe Michael's. And but as always, if I can, I will link products below so that you can get started and try and recreate the same page or a similar page. So I used gel mat to get both the collage paper. I'm putting this here because I don't want that book page cover to go too far down and rip it. So I'm going to use it as a little stool. So that was the next layers. And then I took more distressed ink and I used Vintage Photo. And I went over the page again to kind of just give it a more antiqued look. And from there I did stenciling, which was these here. Let me pull these out for you. Okay, so then there were these two stencils. These are paper stencils. They're like, kind of like a hard cardstock, or heavy. And so I used those for the numbers and the letters. And then I used, you know, of course, the coffee stains and the blobs, you know, kind of all around. I spread that around. So those were the next layers. And then I went with my stamping, which were the stamps over here. I added some extra. When I ordered London Gifties, they gave me like a small packet of stickers and pet washi tape. And I just kind of cut out some of the tea, coffee pots and cup and just put those here. I did the stamping here and here from these, this stamp set. It's called I'd Rather Be Reading. It did come from close to my heart, and as I mentioned before, they are closing at the end of April. So I don't know if they have it in stock. You could try. Let's see. So that was then the stamping, and then I added this little die cut I had. I don't even remember where I got it from. I had a couple, and so I just added it in. I may need to add a little bit more glue down here because it's kind of coming up. And then I just scattered some coffee beans, glasses, you know. And then the final step that I did was I went around the border of the page with my Vintage Photo. But when that kind of wasn't really giving me the effect I wanted, I pulled out my distress crayons and I used the brown to go over with some water, and I just simply smeared it on there. Now, as I was talking about that, I just remembered there was actually a step I missed in explaining to you. So let me grab that bucket or, you know, jar out. My chair is not the best. It's kind of creaking, you know, you might hear it bunking and creaking. That's my chair. So over this book paper and the collage paper, typically when you're using two different kinds of papers and you want to kind of blend them together, you can use white gesso. So all I did with this was I just used my finger and I just kind of, you know, went around here. I brought a few a little bit into the middle. It kind of looks like white glue, I guess, in a way. But that helps to kind of feather in the two pages so there's no difference between them. So that was my first page. I'm completely happy with it. I love how it came out. It was so relaxing to be able to get creative, and I'm so happy to be able to start sharing this with you. So, you know, it's going to kind of be a journey. This is my first Happy Planner bullet journal. And, you know, I'm just going to let it take me where it wants to take me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the next two pages. And let me take out my pages so I can show you what I mean. Let's see, that was the first one, second one. So what I wanted to do with this, I don't know if you can tell. Prior to starting this, I cut 2 pages down. So there's this page, and then this page goes up only slightly to this one, and then I cut this one even further down. What I wanted to accomplish was kind of giving it that, you know, like a book. When you open a book and you have the layers of pages going down the sides, that's kind of what I wanted to do with this, was just give it the look of a book, I guess. I do have a book I'm going to share with you that I'm going to be reading. I just picked it up at the library, a couple dollars. They were having a sale, and it sounded interesting, so I'm going to give it a go. I haven't read a book in forever, so it's probably time I read. Okay, so then the last step was just penciling in or hand lettering in. It says, happiness is a cup of coffee and a good book. So I thought that was a cute quote for this. And then I kind of just let it be. I didn't want to, over clutter it. So that is going to lead me into these next 2 pages. So what I'm going to do, I have to make sure, again, I don't bend that paper down. So to start, I started doing some of the cutting of things just so that hopefully this type of video is going to be a little bit longer because, creating does not happen in 20 minutes or half hour. Sometimes it can, but for me, when I do these type of things, it won't. So I'm just going to head it right off and just say this probably won't be a short video. So let's get started. So here's what I did. I'm going to use these stamps. I'm going to use actually this one here. It says currently reading. And also for this page may have a different one. If time permits and I start this one, I will come back on, talk about what I'm going to do, and then go back into, some light music while I go through the process of setting that page up. So I have, now, I don't know, some years back, I created tea-stained paper. So I took 8.5 by 11 paper, tea-stained it, and then I've created a junk journal from it, put that on the blog. So that is what kind of inspired this whole page, is this tea-stained paper. So I took some of the strips, the leftover strips from my junk journal project, which I kept, and I cut them down to mimic a little bit a book, so like a reading book. And then I went through and I penciled in some designs on the cover, which I will, highlight more with a micron pen. Let me find the right one that goes to these. Okay. So these are going to be my books. And then I will be writing the title of the book I'm reading. And then I might write the date when I finished it. And then these 2 pages are going to be on on the edge of these 2 papers. So, for example, I'm going to tack this one down so that when you see it, you're going to see the tea-stained paper. And then the same for the last page. It'll be tea-stained paper. So that's what I'm intending to do. And so those are kind of all of the goodies that I plan to use. I may throw some things in. I may do some other things. We will see. This is as much new for me as it is for you, for me doing this type of video. So I do hope you enjoy it, and I will set this all to music and I will just get it creating, and then I'll come back on and we'll talk about it. So let's get started. Okay, so I have created my second page, and as you saw, at first I think I fumbled with my Tombow mono dots. I had to replace it. But for the most part, I just jumped right in and got done what I wanted to get done. I didn't want this page as dark simply because I was using the excess tea stain papers to create like the book covers. And, not as much art in it as in like the gesso or the, gel mat or anything of that nature. Again, for this one, I just kind of wanted it to be mostly tea stained and then highlight other areas. So, there was a few little mess ups like here with my stamping. This is the commit. So I had my hand under here and I accidentally twisted it a little. So, things like that happen. And then I just wanted to make a very loose, non-perfect outline of the books. Now, each of the books have an area for me to write a title. So my intent is as I finish a book, I will put it on here and I will probably somewhere on the cover also write the date that I finished it. And so this will be my first page of books for 2024 to keep track of. And then I will be doing the next page, but because this one took as long as it did, I kind of don't want to jump into that one. I'll do that on a second video. And it, again, will be slightly different than this page and this page, but all in all, it turned out really well. So page number 3 will be coming soon. And I had so much fun creating. I hope you enjoyed this video. Something new in my blog, or my blog schedule, my filming schedule. And these are more to come. These are the type of things that, as I talked about having a, planner funk or being stuck with what am I doing with my planner, I'm discovering some things and I'm finding some things out. So this is one part of it, which is being creative. So I'm spending so much time in the Girl with Goals planner pages that I'm not actually getting anything created. So you are going to go along that journey with me as I create the pages in this Happy Planner bullet grid journal. So this is my 2024 reading page number 2. I hope you have enjoyed it. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification. I will link below any of the extra supplies I've used that I can link for it to be easier for you to get it. I will list the stamps. Even if I can't link them, I'll list where they came from. And maybe you can recreate the same page or something similar. So I hope I've inspired you to do that. So I hope I have not only inspired you, but I hope you have a wonderful day as you create a beautiful life. Thank you for watching.